We're going to talk about the reasons why we hold on to a person and we can't let go. Sometimes we even think that they did magic to us because we can actually fathom the idea of being without them. But this has a lot to do with neuroscience and psychology and attachment things going around in our brains. It has nothing to do with us, right? It has nothing to do with them. It has a lot to do with the situation, okay? And the first capital or psychologic currency that we perceive from this person is the psychological capital, right? This has a lot to do with our attachment and the identity that we have built around them. It is the sense of safety, identity, and belonging built around someone. So when we had this connection with this person, we actually became someone completely different. Most of the time that we miss this person, we're going to miss the person that we were with them more than them themselves, right? And why is it so hard to let go? Well, when they leave, your brain literally goes into withdrawal. Okay, your mind is like, oh, we don't have this dopamine anymore, so you crave them like they are a substance. And that's even worse because people become like a drug in your life. And believe it or not, that has also a dark side, which is you start to confuse their absence with danger. Like, what is wrong, right? Something's wrong. And it's making you chase what hurts. So you stop the pain. And that's why we usually just text them again or seek validation from a person that just left us because we're experiencing withdrawals. But it's literally like a drug. So if you want to let go of someone, you will have to go through the pain because the only way out is through. Another currency that we have is the sexual capital. And this is something that happens to all of us. If you are a sexual person, of course. If you're not, then it's going to be less. But for me, it is, which is lust and reinforcement loops. Okay? What it is physical attraction, sexual chemistry, which activate powerful hormonal releases, which is dopamine, testosterone, oxytocin. The moment that you start experiencing these levels of effects in your brain, they become addicted. And it's because of attraction, right? It has a lot to do with the way that you see this person. You see this person as a goddess. You want to have everything with them, right? You are addicted. You smell them, and it's like, that reminds me of flowers. That you start associating their presence with all your senses, right? And you like absorb them in a deeper way. What is the science behind this? There's an intense intimacy which reinforces attachment. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, increases trust and emotional closeness after physical contact. This is the reason why, after you have, let's say, pineapples with a person, I love the word pineapples. After you have pineapples with a person, you start feeling this way of reinforcement, right? It's not reinforcement, it's you feel accepted, you feel validated in a different way, in a more deeper way. Like you literally gave yourself to a person, your soul, your heart, your mind, your time, your energy, your body to a person, and your body is a vessel, so your mind is going to react very positively if you had a good experience, and that is going to make you very much addicted. So the brain links the desire that you have towards physical touch with this person, is going to relate that to validation. So you may crave not the person, but how wanted, you felt by them. Okay? They wanted you so bad, and that's what you wanted. Then that's what you loved, and that's what gave you this boost of energy. And you want to keep feeling that. And when they are gone, again, we're going to the first currency, which was psychological. You withdraw. You just withdraw. And you feel like they were a drug still. Then we go to the third currency, which is emotional capital. This is about empathy and dependency. Okay? This is very low in me, but this can be very active in relationships that are long lasting relationships. Like if you've been together with someone for 4 or 5 years, you're going to develop this very, very strong. It is emotional exchange and emotional attunement. When they get you, they just get you. You get used to someone and you start experiencing life as a whole. And I know this this makes me mad because the person that I was talking to, he was with he had a partner for 5 years, and they were away from each other, like they just broke up, and a month later he met me. How could he? He totally had a lot of emotional capital from this person, right? This was their currency because they were together for so long. They completely got each other, but apparently that's why they broke up also. Like, you didn't quite fix everything, but like at the same time it's like they only took a time. Whatever, let's continue talking about this topic. We're getting off topic. um what is the science behind that is that it like mirror neurons create emotional synchronization. So you literally start to feel what they feel because you become a whole thing. You're just one thing when you're together. So the dark side is that this mirroring can create emotional dependency, and you start to regulate your mood through their reactions. You will seek validation from the other person in order to feel good about yourself. And that leads to codependency. Something that I have not experienced, as I said. I feel like one day I will feel this currency, this what was the other word? Capital, you know. Let's go to the fourth one. Cognitive capital. Okay, this is about the mental stimulation and control that this person has over us. Okay, it is the intellectual attraction when someone makes you think differently or challenges your worldwide. This is something that I experienced the first time that I fell in love, and believe it or not, it's something that stood on my mind. And when you are an intellectual driven person, you like reading books, you like talking about philosophical aspects of life and existence, this is going to be so hard to get over because you don't usually find your people. Even if everyone could be existential but not driven by the same topics that you are, right? That is just something that kills you. And the science behind that is that the brain releases dopamine in response to novelty and challenge. So they are making you think beyond what you usually know. And that makes you also addicted to this person. All of this makes you addicted to a person. That's gorgeous. But at the same time, that's so dangerous. And the dark side is that you can confuse intellectual excitement with love, especially if they also invalidate or challenge you intermittently, creating a trauma bond through unpredictability. That is so true. And that is something that I think many people that had talked with me have experienced because I usually just say the opposite of what you think, just to challenge you to think further and make like a statement, be like, no, but this is because of this. And I'll be like, no, but did you know that this is this? And I could even be lying to you, and I just want to challenge a person, right? And they're like, is this person flirting with me? And I'm like, no, I just want to fight. Okay, let's go to the fifth, which is social capital. This is very common in cities that are conservative cities, because you usually conservative cities have a lot of classism, and classism is trying to stay classist, right? So you want to have a reputation and a validation from your social status, and it is that. It's basically how the relationship shapes your image or social identity. Is this person giving you more status, or is this person keeping you in the status that you want to be in? And I hate this from the bottom of my heart, because I've been growing with this idea, because my dad was like this also. He was always thinking about the social um capital, because he was like, you need to stay in the social status because it's going to be important and it's going to give you opportunities, which is true. Nepotism. Powerful families have a lot of nepotism, and that's the only way that you can actually get a job. But whatever. I'm talking about conservative places. I'm not sure if that is the same all over the world. I'm pretty sure it's like kind of the same, but not that much. Okay. Science behind this is that social belonging activates the same neural reward centers as food and money, which is feeling validated from something that is external and giving you more value to yourself, but it has nothing to do with you, which is, I don't find the I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. I'm mad that it makes sense, right? And it makes sense. Okay. The dark side is that losing them can feel like social death, which is that the brain registers it as rejection from the thrive, triggering anxiety and obsession, right? The dark side of not belonging to a thrive is actually interested, and I put this here because it has a lot to do with our instincts. And that's something that the more we evolve, we try to get away from, but it's always going to be there. Like, it's always going to be there, and it's always going to be in a conversation. I'm always thinking, like, we have evolved so much to think freely and to express ourselves and to not need our instincts to be as so present in our lives. But the more I think about this, like, at the same time, that's something that is in our nature. Like, if we feel, and I did my thesis about this, about how human humanity in general feels better when they're in contact with nature because of their instincts and because how they heal from this. And it's interesting to think that if I tell you this aspect of us, of humans, if we're in contact with nature, we're going to heal sooner and we're going to get better. It's like acceptable. But if I tell you that our instinct is to stay in our social status, is like, oh, you get offended. And that's something that I also think about deeply, because it's like both of the things, being in contact with nature and being in contact with your status, um, are like kind of the same thing, which is something instinctive from our instinct, and one is more powerful than the other, right? If you talk with this with another person that thinks differently, they're going to reject that. But it's because the rejection is also part of their nature. It's a whole thing. I always think that when you talk about things that can easily be lost, like money and status, they get defensive about it, people. And I talk about that myself also because I, I don't know, I have that in me. And sometimes I try to fight that. Well, not sometimes, all the time I try to fight that. But it's very hard to fight that when you are surrounded by something social. And I mean, I'm talking about something social. And if you talk about this with other people, the other people are also going to give their own opinion about this. So it's interesting to have this type of conversations, and I love that. We go to the next one, which is ego capital. It has a lot to do with narcissistic reinforcement. The self esteem boost that comes from being chosen, desired, or admired. And oh my god, the times that I've talked about this because I am obsessive and I am a little bit narcissistic. I have just narcissistic aspect to my personality. Sorry. That is totally okay. And if you have that, it's also okay. We are fine. But that's the capital that people can give you. And especially admired and desired. And oh my god, when you get this knowledge, you can easily manipulate someone into thinking that you're totally in love with them and taking advantage of them, which is something that I do not say that you should do, but just something that you should think about because there must be someone doing this to you, which happened to me recently. Someone must be saying that they admire the way that you do this, that they desire you so much, that they chose you. Well, yes, that is manipulation. They can totally be acting. Think about that. And the science behind that is being validated increases dopamine and serotonin, which are chemicals linked to confidence and satisfaction. The dark side of this is that when you lose their validation, the ego collapses. You crave them to restore your self image. And this is so true. This is so true because when someone validates you to this level of admiration towards you, your self image is going to be so involved because you're being validated with something that has a lot to do with your insecurities. When you have a narcissistic or egocentric personality, is because you used to have a lot of insecurities in your life and you overcame them to the point where you are eccentric, right? And when someone tries to validate you and give you more and give you more, it's like, yes, 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 I love this. But when they withdraw all of that and they just let you go, it's like, why is it so easy for you to let me go? Who do you think you are? You said you admired me. Was I not enough? And then you start to question yourself. That's why the ego capital is very important to understand and to know where people can actually be playing with you, because you can easily get to a person through their ego. Think about that. The next one is their spiritual or symbolic capital, the meaning and the destiny, right? What it is the belief that the connection is fated or meant to be. I do this a lot. The science behind that is that the brain seeks narrative coherence, which is a sense of meaning to avoid the chaos that comes from loving someone, right? You start to think like, I want to be with this person and it is meant to be, and we met for a reason, and I believe our future is going to be very abundance, a lot of abundance in our future if we're together, which is so, so manipulative. I've experienced this many times, and I'm also the person that is going to do this because I've done this many times. But think about that. Dark side of this is you stay because you're addicted to the story, not the person. You mistake intensity for destiny, okay? This intense bond that you created with a person is going to make you think that you were destined to meet them and be with them. And there's no thing, nothing, no such thing as anything coming between you two. And if that thing comes between you two, is because you weren't meant to be in the first place. Given this whole narrative and assigning God, you know, God being the one that made you two meet, is so powerful. And it's something that's not going to um let you let go of this person, because you associate meaning with this person. It's like, oh, I thought we were meant to be. Now what? And this happens a lot. This just happened, and this is happening to me right now. I made this video for myself and for the people that need it. So we're in this together, baby. We're in this together. I love you. We're in this together. Next one is emotional control capital. Okay, manipulation and intermittent reinforcement. It is when affection and rejection are alternated, unpredictably, unpredictably. Yes. And the science behind this is that intermittent reinforcement used in gambling, something to think about, creates the strongest form of addiction. Okay? Is this idea of giving attention and taking it, giving it and taking it. It's a game. That game is going to make you addicted because you're getting a reward from something, right? It's not a game, but in your mind, it is. It's like subconsciously you created a game, and now you're addicted to seeking validation from getting this award and doing things for this person because, oh, they are not paying attention to me, what am I doing wrong? And you start doing more, and you start doing what they want, and you like it at the same time because you get rewards, you get little gifts, right? Like a game, like gambling. And you are usually seeking a reward, right? It's like the brain keeps chasing unpredictable rewards from this relationship. And the dark side of this is that this is the core of trauma bonding, the cycle of pain and relief that keeps you emotionally trapped. And I think this is the worst capital, the worst. I think you should never, ever, 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 ever think twice about this capital. The other capitals that I told you about, we went to most known and the most healthy, to now we're going to very, very dark psychology capitals, which is something that you should think twice. If you had emotional control capital with this person, you're free, baby. You are free. Don't suffer. You are free. But I understand why you can't let go, right? Your mind got used to that. It's like a drug. Here we go again. Next one is moral capital, and it's about guilt and obligation, the feeling responsible for their happiness, healing, or stability. And I see where this comes from because when you have someone relying on you emotionally because they're going through something very hard in their lives, you're going to feel very, very sad, remorsed, and I don't know, guilty because they're not having someone by their side if they're going through a difficult time. But that's the science behind that the prefrontal cortex, which is linked to empathy and guilt, gets overstimulated in codependent personalities. So if this person relied on you, now you feel guilty because they are not longer with you, and you want to seek further validation. You want to talk to them again to see how they're going. You want to, how do you say, check up on them? You want to, yeah, you want to know how they're doing. I do not encourage that at all. If they let you go that easy, why are you checking up on them? What do you need to know? That they don't want you still? Don't let them make you, don't let them tell you that they don't want you twice. And yeah, why are you seeking? The idea you want them to tell you, oh, do you still not want me? Yeah, I still don't want you. Thank you, bye. Mm-mm, that's not, we don't want that. The dark psychology behind this is that you stay not because of love, but because leaving feels cruel or wrong. Guilt replaces affection. Then we go to the last one. Last but not least, and more powerful and very much related to art, which is the nostalgic capital, the memory and reward bias, right? What it is the sentimental powered or shared experiences. You have been replaying these situations over and over again in your head. Everything that went great, all the time that you felt grateful for having them in your life. You start replaying that. And the science behind this is that the hippocampus stores emotional memories more vividly when linked with strong emotions. So you were feeling so happy with this person that the situation could be the most mundane. But if you felt amazing, you start thinking that that memory is one of the best memories in your life. But it's just because of how you felt. And feelings aren't real, you know? Think about that. Feelings are not real. It's just something that anybody can make you feel, lying to you. You have to withdraw and see things clearly after you have distanced yourself from this person. Think twice. Think twice because the memories can affect you so bad. And this is a capital that is going to stay with you forever, and probably a capital that comes after the fact, right? After being with this person, you start having these memories, or even when you think about leaving this person, this capital, the nostalgic capital, is going to be even add weight into your pain. And we don't want that. We have to let go. The past already happened. You are always going to be able to have better experiences with people and more lovely, you know, more meaningful. Well, not more meaningful, but like you understand what I'm trying to say. You can have more experiences and it's not the end of the world. And the dark side about this is that you realize the past, not the present. The brain filters out the pain and keeps only the reward images, creating emotional hallucinations of what was. So when you have this nostalgic capital, you usually don't remember about the things as they were, but you romanticize that. And that's usually when you are an artist, you start painting these feelings, you start writing about these feelings, and the poetry, you know, he hit me and it felt like a kiss, kind of thing. So we don't stay. We don't stay because of love. We stay because of all these capitals are adding up to the value that we see in this person. You have to let go of that, right? Think of it like that. Those are just values that you can easily rebuild with other people or with yourself, right? We stay because our brains are chemically, socially, and narratively wired to associate good feelings and a good life with this person, with safety, with pleasure, with meaning, you know? All of these pure feelings that you have towards this person, you associate that to the person, but you don't realize that you are the vessel. You are the one that's feeling. You should be grateful because you can feel in the first place. And that is a piece of advice that my aunt told me. She was like, yes, you ask a lot from people, and this person just was lying, straight up lying to you and make you feel things. But you're not thinking that you had the beautiful feelings. You should be grateful for yourself and you should be able to say, yes, I was able to love so deeply. That was me. That is lovely and I love that, you know? Don't do this, do more of this. Like, I am the one that's able to feel this. I am the one that's able to give it all. And that is powerful. And that's a powerful that I want to keep to myself and be able to give it from time to time and learn from that experience. So, that's all. It's very emotional draining and terrifying at the same time if you think deeply about it. But if you think about these capitals and currencies at the moment of letting go of someone, it's about that. It's not about the person. It's not that they are special. It's not that they are like the best people in the world. If you felt all these currencies with that person, believe it or not, it's not the end of the world. You're going to be okay. But it has a more logical meaning behind. It doesn't have to do with them. It has to do with the value that you put onto that person. They would be nothing if you didn't see this in them. Think about that. And I know that sounds harsh and a little bit terrible, but it is like that. Like, if you didn't see these good things about them, they wouldn't be that, you know? You brought this aspect of them out and made it meaningful to you. That's why it hurts. That's why it hurts. So I send you a big hug, a big kiss, a big everything. I love you so much. And thank you for listening to me. I don't know if you feel better, but I feel 100 times better after talking about this because I was told, and this idea comes from my best friend. My best friend was like, you need to let go of that sexual capital. And that is so true because I was attracted to them. They were attracted to me. And that brought something out of me. I was like, oh my God, time and place, you know? It is about feeling validated. It is very addictive. But you need to let go and you'll be fine.